Discuss part 4, that is last part of unit 7, D and A block elements. As in previous lecture, I told you some important property of D block elements. These properties are enthalpy of ionization and variable oxidation state. In that topic, that is enthalpy of ionization, I told you that the first enthalpy of ionization is always lower than second and third, and I also told you that the enthalpy of ionization of 5D series is much more than 3D and 4D series. This is due to basically weak shielding effect of nucleus by 4f electrons in 5D series. That's why down the group enthalpy of ionization should be decreases, but here what happens, students? The enthalpy of ionization of 5D elements are more than 3D and 4D elements. So this you have to note it down that. Then again I told you the very important topic, that is variable oxidation state. So in the topic variable oxidation state, I told you that the transition elements show variable oxidation state. This is due to a small energy difference between n-1d and ns orbital. As a result, both n-1d and ns electron take part in bond formation, and hence they show variability in oxidation state. I also told you about that all the transition elements except the first and last member in each series, that is 3D series, 4D series, 5D series, etc., show variable oxidation state. I also told you that the most common oxidation state of 3D series elements is +2, except scandium, which show the +3 oxidation state due to noble gas configuration. So now, dear students, let us focus on this topic, that is part 4. So now, after studying part 4, you will be able to know that standard electrode potential, that is E0 value, and their relation with the reducing characters. About this I also told you in chapter 3, that is electrochemistry. In electrochemical series, in that electrochemical series, the value of E0 given, and I also told you that the more the negative E0 value, more will be the reducing nature of that element, and more the positive E0 value, more will be the oxidizing property. So let us also explain here something about E0 value. Then we will be able to know chemical properties, that is formation of oxide and oxygen ions, and also formation of halides and some of their properties. Then I also told you that a block elements, basically a block elements contains lanthanoids and actinoids, but for 2021 board examinations, actinoids are removed from your syllabus. So that's why only you have to learn about lanthanoids. And in lanthanoids, you have to know about electronic configuration, oxidation state, and consequences of lanthanoid contraction. So now, dear students, let us focus on the standard electrode potential, that is E0 and reducing property. So first of all, you have to know that how we can calculate the value of E0. So look at here, quantitatively the stability of transition metal ion in different oxidation state in solution can be determined on the basis of electrode potential data, which can be calculated like this. So look at here, M in the form of solid. When solid change into gas, so we have to provide sublimation energy. So that's why M solid, delta SUB H. Here delta means change, sum means sublimation, H means enthalpy. Now the metal from solid state change into gas state. Now then from gas state we have to remove the electrons. As you know that for this we have to provide the enthalpy of ionization. So now look at here, M metal in the form of gas, now which are taken the energy in the form of enthalpy of ionization, that delta IH. Now the metal from gaseous state change into gaseous ion after losing 1 electrons. Now students, when gaseous cations are dissolved in aqueous, that means water, in that condition the interaction of gaseous cations and water take place. So this will liberate some amount of energy, and this energy known as hydration energy. So that's why delta HYD H. So delta means again change, HYD means hydration, H means enthalpy. Now the gaseous metal cation convert into metal cations in aqueous condition. Now the total energy, that delta TH equal to delta sublimation enthalpy plus delta IH, that is enthalpy of ionization, plus delta HYDH, that is enthalpy of hydration. So thus delta TH, that is total enthalpy change when solid metal, that is M, is brought in aqueous medium in the form of monovalent ion. So by this way you can calculate the value of E naught. So now students, this is the calculation of value of E naught. Now some more points you have to note it down regarding the E naught value and the reducing characters. So look at here, transition elements have lower value of reduction potential. This is due to high enthalpy of ionization, that is ionization potential, high heat of sublimation, and low enthalpy of hydration. Some more point note down that you lower the electrode potential, that is more negative, the standard reduction potential of the electrode, more stable is the oxidation state of transition metal ion in aqueous solution. For example, you can take it like this, a copper 2 plus, the E naught value of copper 2 plus is 0.34, and copper plus, this have the E naught value is plus 0.52. So here the lower value for copper 2 plus, so that's why copper 2 plus is more stable than copper plus in aqueous medium. So by this way you can also find which oxidation state is more stable in aqueous medium. Now dear students, some more point noted down that the E naught value of M2 plus oblique M and M3 plus oblique M2 plus of first row transition elements, that is 3D series, are given below. So look the table. This table contains element of 3D series except scandium, because in case of scandium this basically belong to the plus 3 state. So that's why scandiums are left here. Now dear students, let us focus again on the table. The element of 3D series are titanium, vanadium, chromium, Mn, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper and zinc are given with their E naught value in two cases, in M2 plus case and in M3 plus oblique M2 plus case. So first of all look the M2 plus oblique M. So this indicate that M2 plus are changed into metal, that means this is the reduction potential value. So now look at here, minus 1.63 is given for Ti, that is titanium, for vanadium minus 1.18, for chromium minus 0.9, Mn minus 1.18, for iron 0.44 in minus, cobalt minus 0.28, nickel minus 0.25, copper plus 0.34 and Zn minus 0.76. So now dear students, look the value of E naught for M2 plus oblique M except copper. All these elements show negative E naught value, that indicate the reducing property. That is, all the 3D elements are good reducing agent except copper. This is due to negative E naught value. However, they are weaker reducing agent than S block element. This is due to less metallic character than S block elements. Now some more point you have to note down that कि फ्रॉम टाइटेनियम टू Zn the value of E naught for M2 plus oblique M show the irregularities. So one question may be arises, why they show the irregularities in the inert value? Your answer like this: the irregular inert value are explained by irregular variation of ionization enthalpy, that is basically first and second, and sublimation enthalpy across the series. Now students, some more point you noted down by looking the table. More negative inert value than expected for Mn, nickel and zinc show greater stability for Mn2 plus in D5, Ni2 plus in D8 and Zn2 plus in D10 condition. The exceptional inert value of Ni2 plus is due to basically its high negative enthalpy of hydration. This I also told you that small the size of cations, more will be the hydration. So that's why the inert value of Ni2 plus is basically related to its high negative enthalpy of hydration. Then some more point noted down that the comparatively high value of E naught in Mn3 plus oblique Mn2 plus case, so that Mn2 plus is very stable, which is on account of stable D5 configuration of Mn2 plus. That's why the conversion of Mn3 plus from Mn2 plus show the inert value plus 1.537. That indicate the more the positive value, more will be the oxidizing nature. So that's why Mn3 plus is more oxidizing due to more positive inert value. Hence, it want to live in Mn2 plus. This is due to D5 configuration. Some more point you have to note it down. In case of inert value M3 plus oblique M2 plus ion. So that is the comparatively high value of E naught for Mn3 plus oblique Mn2 plus is due to basically D5 configuration of Mn2 plus. This I also told you. Now some more points. The comparatively low value of E naught for Rn3 plus oblique Rn2 plus is on account of extra stability of D3 plus, that is in case of D5 configuration, and the comparatively low value of E naught for vanadium 3 plus oblique vanadium 2 plus is on account of stability of vanadium 2 plus is due to half-filled T2G3 configuration. About T2G3, you have learned in complex compound where the splitting of d orbital take place in two form. The d orbital break into Eg and T2G orbitals. T2G orbitals contains lower energy orbitals and have 3 orbitals of d out of 5, and Eg contains high energy orbital that contains 2 orbitals of d. So that's why d orbitals are break into Eg orbitals and T2G orbitals. Here in case of vanadium, the stability of B2 plus ion is due to half-filled T2G3 configuration. Now some more point noted down that copper is unique in showing positive value of E naught. This explains why it does not liberate H2 gas from acid. The reason for positive value of E naught for copper is that the sum of enthalpy of sublimation and ionization is not balanced, that is compensated by hydration enthalpy. So that is the sublimation enthalpy and enthalpy of ionization both have positive value, but enthalpy of hydration is negative value. So here in case of copper, the sublimation enthalpy and ionization enthalpy are not balanced by hydration enthalpy. So that's why the inert value for copper is positive. Copper only react with oxidizing agent such as HNO3 and not with concentrated H2SO4. So one question may be arises, why the copper do not liberate H2 gas from acid? The answer it should be like this: the inert value for a hydrogen is 0. This I also told you in electrochemistry chapter. And copper have positive inert value. So for this, more negative the value of E naught Mn2 plus by Mn, more is the reducing agent, and more the positive value of E naught, more will be the oxidizing property. So here copper have more positive value, so that's why it do not liberate H2 gas from acid. Now some more point we noted down that copper plus is stable only in dry state or in soluble salt, that is CuI, CuCN, CuCl, these. But in aqueous solution, copper plus disproportionate, that is 2 copper plus will gives copper 2 plus copper. So here copper from plus 1 to change into plus 2 and 0. So that's why this shows the disproportionation nature of copper plus. One more reaction noted down that 2 copper 2 plus 4I, this will gives copper, that is Cu2I2 plus I2. So this is also very important reactions for examination point of view. Now the students, some more point noted down that the inert value for couple of Cr3 plus oblique Cr2 plus, so look the table, H minus 0.41 volt, and for Mn3 plus oblique Mn2 plus, this is plus 1.57 volt. This suggests that the Cr2 plus is unstable and is oxidized to Cr3 plus, which is more stable and hence act as reducing agent, whereas Mn3 plus is unstable and is reduced to Mn2 plus, which is more stable, and hence Mn3 plus is act as oxidizing agent. So this type of question may be arises. So dear students, again focus on the unstability nature of copper plus, that is the stability nature of copper 2 plus. So the greater stability of copper 2 plus aqueous than copper plus aqueous is due to more negative enthalpy of hydration of copper 2 plus, that is basically minus 21 kilojoule per mole, then copper plus, which is more than compensate for high second enthalpy of ionization of copper, that is basically 1958 kilojoule per mole. So that's why due to more enthalpy of hydration, copper 2 plus is more stable than copper plus. So one question may be arises कि why the copper 2 plus is more stable than copper plus. So your answer should be like this in term of more negative hydration enthalpy. Now students, these are all about standard electrode potential and reducing nature. So now students, again listen कि more negative the value of E naught M2 plus oblique M, more is the reducing property of the element, and more the positive inert value, more will be the oxidizing property. So that's why if one question may be arises कि out of iron that have inert value minus 0.44 and copper that have value plus 0.34, which behave as reducing agent and which behave as oxidizing agent. In that condition, iron behave as reducing agent due to more negative inert value, and copper behave as oxidizing agent due to more positive E naught value. So by this way, you can also calculate the oxidizing reducing property of the given elements. And also one reactions are given. You can also find the reactions will be completed or not. So again, listen the lecture of unit 3rd electrochemistry. In that lecture, I also told you about the electrochemical series. So from there, you can find how we can know that the reaction is spontaneous or non-spontaneous. So now dear students, let us focus on next property, that is chemical property. First chemical property is oxides and oxo metals ion. So now look at here. The oxide of metal in low oxidation state, that is +2 and +3, that is MO and M2O3, are generally basic except Cr2O3, which is amphoteric in character. Similarly, the oxide of metal in higher oxidation state, that is M2O5, MO3, M2O7, are generally acidic in character, but this is not a hard and fast rule. For example, B2O5, that is vanadium pentoxide, contains +5 charge, that is maximum oxidation state, but it is a amphoteric. So this is not a hard and fast rule, but generally you have to know that the lower value of oxidation state show the basic nature, and higher value of oxidation state in case of metal show the acidic property also, and the intermediate oxidation state are generally amphoteric in nature. Now the students, some more point noted down that beside the oxides, the oxocations which stabilize vanadium in +5 state species is BO2 plus. You can calculate the oxidation state of vanadium in this case. Let us take the value of vanadium X and O2, 2 into -2, this equal to +1, this equal to +5. Similarly, vanadium in 4 species is BO2 plus, and titanium in 4th species is TiO2 plus. So you can also calculate the oxidation number of titanium, vanadium in this oxocations. Now dear students, also I told you about the Fajan rule, that according to Fajan rule, more the covalent character, more will be the acidic property, and this is basically more the higher oxidation state. So that means more the state of oxidation, that is higher oxidation state, more will be the covalent property, and hence more will be the acidic property according to Fajan rule. This I also told you so many times. This rule is very important, and this application of this rule is also came so many times. Now the student, next point on oxide and oxygens. As the oxidation number of metal in the oxide increases, ionic character decreases and acidic character increases. So thus, look at here. Here some oxides of Mn are taken with their oxidation state are also written here. MnO contains +2 charge, Mn2O3 contains +3 charge on Mn, MnO2 contains +4 charge, MnO3 contains +6 charge on Mn, and M2O7 contains +7 charge on Mn. Look at here, +2 and +3 states show the basic nature, +4 states show the amphoteric nature, and +6 and +7 show the acidic nature. So according to Fajan rule, higher the oxidation state, more will be the covalent characters and more will be the acidic property. So now look at here, the ionic character decreases from +2 to +7, that means covalent characters increases, and hence acidic characters increases. Thus Mn2O7 dissolve in water to give HMnO4, that is permanganate acid. So by this way you can also find the given oxide is acidic or basic. One more example you can take in CrO3 plus water, this will gives H2CrO4. This is known as chromic acid. This also indicate that CrO3 is acidic in nature. Now some more examples are taken here to explain the acidic and basic property. Look at here, CrO contains +2 charge, Cr2O3 +3, CrO2 +4, and CrO3 +6 charge. Now +2 charge of Cr show basic nature, and +3 +4 charge show the amphoteric nature of chromium oxide, and +6 charge show the acidic nature. Again same thing apply here. According to Fajan rules, more the charge, that is more the oxidation number, more will be the covalent characters, and more will be the acidic property. So that's why the acidic nature increases from +2 to +6 and basic nature decreases. Similarly, the covalent characters increases from +2 to +6 and ionic character decreases from +2 to +6. Now the students, on moving a period, stability of higher oxidation state decreases. So now look the conditions. VO3 minus CrO4 2 minus MnO4 minus. So this shows the decrease in stability of higher oxidation state. Then on moving down the group, stability of higher oxidation state increases. So look again here, CrO3, MnMoO3, WO3, that is trioxide of chromium, trioxide of molybdenum and trioxide of tungsten. So down the group, they belong to the same group. Down the group, the stability of higher oxidation state, that is +6, increases. That means WO3 and MoO3 are stable, but CrO3 is unstable. So that's why CrO3 work as oxidizing agent and reduce itself to Cr3+. Now usually transition metal ion in their lower oxidation state act as reducing agent, and in their higher oxidation state they are oxidizing agent. Here some examples are given: scandium 2+, titanium 2+, vanadium 2+, iron 2+, and cobalt 2+, etc. are reducing agent. This can also be found from electronic configuration. So first of all, write the electronic configuration of scandium, titanium, vanadium and try to find why they are act as reducing agent. Then Cr6+, Mn7+, these are basically in higher oxidation state, so that's why they work as oxidizing agent. That means lower state behave as reducing agent and higher state behave as oxidizing agent, and the state in intermediate can behave as reducing and oxidizing agent depending upon the condition. Now students, next, relative stability of oxidation state. This is also very important for examination point of view. So due to inert gas, that is noble gas configuration, first of all, one question may be arises: scandium 2+ and scandium 3+, which are more stable. Their scandium 3+ is more stable. This is due to stable noble gas configuration. Then Ti3+ is less stable than Ti4+. This is again due to noble gas configuration. Then Mn6+ is less stable than Mn7+. This is again due to noble gas configuration. Vanadium 4+ is less stable than vanadium 5+. This is due to again noble gas configuration. So this type of question may be raised. Now the stability of cations due to D5 configuration. So one question may be raised here also: why Mn3+ is less stable than Mn2+. So again find the electronic configuration and also find the half filled and full filled stability. So by this way you can also find that stability of cations. So look at here, Mn3+ is less stable than Mn2+. This is due to, in case of Mn3+, it have D4 configuration and Mn2+ have D5 configuration. So due to half filled stability, Mn2+ is more stable. Now next, due to stability of D3, that T2G3, then D4 configuration in aqueous medium. So maybe one question arises: why the chromium 3+ is more stable than chromium 2+. So here also the splitting of d orbital take place, and this d orbital contains Eg and T2G orbitals. The T2G orbitals have lower energy, so that's why according to Above principle, first of all you have to fill the T2G configuration, and this configuration have 3 orbitals, so that's why all the 3 electrons are goes to the T2G orbitals. This contains half filled configuration in case of T2G3. Hence Cr3+ is more stable than Cr2+. Now on the basis of ionization potential, this I also told you in previous lecture, that is Ni2+ is more stable than Ni4+. This is due to first and second enthalpy ionization of Ni2+ is lower than Ni4+. And similarly Pt4+ is more stable than Pt2+. This is again nickel in 4+ conditions is less stable than platinum 4+. This is again due to less first 4 enthalpy of ionization for Pt. So these are basically about the stability of D block cations. So sometimes so many questions arises why they are more stable, why they are less stable. So all the reasons are given here by one region you can find the stability of that cation. Again listen, if one question is arises कि why Cr3 plus is more stable than Cr2 plus, then in that condition you can told that Cr3 plus have T2G3 configuration, that is half filled of d orbitals, so that's why Cr3 plus is more stable. So now students, let us explain the second property, that is halides. So transition metals react with halogen at high temperature to form halides. Then order of reactivity of different halogens, as you know that fluorine is more reactive than chlorine, chlorine is more reactive than bromine, and bromine is more reactive than iodine. Now third points, fluorides are ionic, while chlorides, bromides and iodides are predominantly covalent. This you can know about from the Fajan rules. Now fourth point, halides of metals in higher oxidation state are relatively unstable and get hydrolyzed easily. For example, TiCl4 plus 2 water, this will gives TiO2 plus 4 HCl. Now some more point noted down that metals in higher oxidation state only form fluorides. This is due to most electronegativity and reactivity of fluorine. Then the highest oxidation state are achieved in TiX4, XH, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and BF5, CrF6, but in case of Mn, it form MnO3F, not MnF7. So one question may be arises, why this is not formed? So your answer should be like this, O can achieved plus 7 oxidation state when react with Mn. This is due to multiple bond formation. So these are about the halides of D block elements. Now dear students, let us focus on F block elements. Do you know that why they are called F block elements? Then because the last electron enter into F orbitals of anti-penultimate cell. So that's why they are known as F block elements. Now dear students, F block elements also known as inner transition elements or lanthanoids and actinoids. The F block element consists of two series, that is lanthanoids, the 14 elements following the lanthanum, and actinoids, the 14 elements following the actinium. Now the students, some more point you have to note it down about the block elements. The name inner transition elements is also given to them because they constitute transition series within transition series, that is D block elements, and the last electron enters into anti-penultimate cell, that is N-2F. Now the students, both lanthanoids and actinoids are collectively called as F block elements because the last electron in them enters into F orbitals of anti-penultimate, that is inner to penultimate cell. Now the students, the general electronic configuration N-2 F1 to 14 electrons, then N-1 D0 to 1 electron, and NS2, here N equal to 6 to 7. That is, if F block elements you want to write the electronic configuration for lanthanoid, so then you have to write the value of N equal to 6. In that condition, the electronic configuration of lanthanoids becomes N-2 means 6 minus 2, that is 4F, 1 to 14, 5D, 0 to 1, and 6H2. So like that you can also write the electronic configuration of actinoids, but here you have to focus only on lanthanoids. So let us start about the lanthanoids. The lanthanoids, this is also known as Ln and also known as lanthanone. Here Ln indicate also the lanthanum. So because lanthanum closely resemble the lanthanoids, that is, it's usually included in any discussion of lanthanoids for which the general symbol Ln is often used. So now dear students, let us focus on the lanthanoids. So the elements with atomic number 58 to 71, that is cerium to lutetium, which come immediately after lanthanum having the atomic number 57, are called lanthanoids or lanthanides or lanthanones or rare earth element. So these are the other name of lanthanoids. Now dear students, The general electronic configuration of lanthanoids are given here. Oxygenan having the atomic number 54. Now after that you have to write the electronic configuration like this: 4f 1 to 14 electrons, then 5d 0 to 1 and 6s2. So this is the general electronic configuration of lanthanoids. Nowadays students, let us focus on the electronic configuration of lanthanum and lanthanoids. So here one tables are given which contains atomic number, name, symbol and electronic configuration in three conditions. One atomic condition, that is Ln, then Ln in +2 state and then Ln in +3 state. Here the most common state is +3 for lanthanoids. Nowadays students, look the electronic configuration of atomic number 57, 58, 61, 64 and 71. This is basically blue in color. This denotes the abnormal electronic configuration from rest of the member, and some more property which are differ from rest of the member, like promethium is only radioactive lanthanoids. So that's why this you have to know from this table. Lanthanum atomic number 57, symbol La. In atomic conditions, the electronic configuration is 4f0, 5d1, 6s2, but in +2 condition, the 6s2 electrons are removed, that is outermost electrons removed from s2. That's why they get Ln2 plus charge, and when they come into Ln3 plus charge, they also remove one electron from d orbital. So dear students, the first element of lanthanoid is cerium having the atomic number 58 and symbol Ce. Look the electronic configuration. In atomic state 4f1, 5d1, 6s2, but in +2 state this contains 4f2, 5d0, 6d0, and +3 state it contains 4f1, 5d0 and 6s0. Now next focus on 61 promethium. This is the radioactive elements of lanthanoids. Symbol is Pm. Now then 64 atomic number. The name of element is gadolinium. Symbol Gd. This contains half-filled F configuration, and this also contains one electron in d orbitals. Then 71, that is lutetium. This have fulfilled electronic configuration, that is 14 electrons in f orbital. This also contains one electron in d. So these are about the electronic configuration of lanthanoids. This you have to focus and try to write the electronic configuration by yourself so that it can be learned properly. Now dear students, let us focus on the property of lanthanoid, that is atomic and ionic radii. So look at here, the overall decrease in atomic and ionic radii from lanthanum to lutetium is a unique feature in the chemistry of lanthanoid. So one question may be arises, why this happen? So basically this is due to lanthanoid contraction. So look at here, so this regular decrease is known as lanthanoid contraction. It is due to greater effect of increased nuclear charge than that of screening effect, which is attributed due to imperfect shielding of one electron by another in 4f orbital in the same subcell. So these are the reason behind the decrease in atomic and ionic radii. One more thing you have to notice down that there is a regular decrease in ionic size of trivalent ion, that is M3 plus, as the atomic number increases, but the atomic radii show some irregularities. Now dear students, next you have to know that what is the lanthanoid contraction and what is the consequences of lanthanoid contraction. This is also very important topics for examination point of view. So look at here, there is regular decrease in size of atoms or tripositive ion, that is M3 plus, with increase in atomic number as moving from lanthanum to lutetium. So the steady decrease in size of lanthanoid atoms or ions, that is M3 plus, with increase in atomic number is called lanthanoid contraction. So this you have to know about the lanthanoid contraction. Now dear students, let us focus on the consequence that is as a result of lanthanide contraction. So first point, it results in slight variation in their chemical properties which help in their separation by ion exchange method. So that's why they have difficulty in separation of lanthanoids. This is due to similar atomic radii, they have similar chemical properties, and this is due to lanthanide contraction. Now second point, each element beyond lanthanum has similar or same atomic radius as the element lying above in the same group. So look at here, zirconium having the atomic radius 145 picometer, zirconium come above the hafnium having the atomic number 144, but according to rules of S block and P block down the group, the size increases, but here the size of zirconium and hafnium is similar. This is due to lanthanide contraction. Some more examples are given here. Niobium come above the tantalum, but they have same size. Then molybdenum come above the tungsten. This is basically belong to the chromium group, and the molybdenum's atomic size is 129 picometer and tungsten have 130 picometer. So they also have similar atomic size. So these are due to lanthanide contraction. Now the one question may be arises, why the zirconium and hafnium have similar sizes. So your answer will be like this. This is due to lanthanide contraction. Then the covalent characters of hydroxide of lanthanoids increases as the size decreases from lanthanum 3 plus to lutetium 3 plus. Hence the basic strength decreases. So that's why lanthanum trihydroxide is more basic, whereas lutetium trihydroxide is least basic. This can also be you understand by Fajan rule कि small the size of cations, more will be the power of polarization and more will be the covalent characters, and hence more will be the acidic characters. So that's why LuOH का whole thrice should be more acidic than LaOH का whole thrice. Similarly, the basicity of oxide also decreases in the order from La3 plus to Lu3 plus. This can also be explained on the basis of Fajan rule. Now next fourth point about the consequence of lanthanide contraction is the tendency to form stable complexes from La3 plus to Lu3 plus increases as the size decreases in that order. One more point note down that the Nash enthalpy of 5D series is more than 3D and 4D series. This is also due to lanthanide contraction. So these all about lanthanide contraction. This is very important for examination point of view. Now dear students, let us focus on the oxidation state. This is also very important for examination point of view. The lanthanoids, that is Ln, show limited number of oxidation state as the energy difference or energy gap between 5D and 4F subshell, that is orbital, is significant, that is large, and hence 4F orbital do not take part in the bond formation. So that's why the most stable, that is common oxidation state of lanthanoid is +3. So there is a gap, just I told you, in energy of 4F and 5D and 6S level, that is subshell, and thus the number of oxidation state is limited. So one question may be arises, why the lanthanoids show limited number of oxidation state. So your answer should be like this in the term of energy difference. Now dear students, but they can also form +2 and +4 oxidation state in solution or solid compound. Now dear students, some more point about oxidation state. So the oxidation state of +4 and +2 also exist because they acquire stable configuration, but they revert to +3 state. For example, samarium, that is Sm, contains having the oxidation number 2 plus, yttrium having that oxidation number 2 plus, yttrium having the atomic oxidation number 2 plus, lose electron to become +3 and hence act as good reducing agent. So one question may be arises, U2 plus, Sm2 plus, Yb2 plus behave as which type of agent? So you have to find that these elements belong to the lanthanoids and the stability of these lanthanoids in +3 state. So that's why they can oxidize itself, hence act as reducing agent. Then whereas cerium 4 plus, praseodymium 4 plus, that is Pr, Tb 4 plus, that is terbium 4 plus, in aqueous solution gain electron to revert common oxidation state +3 and hence act as good oxidizing agent. So one question may be raised from here कि why cerium 4 plus act as oxidizing agent. So because they want to change in +3 oxidation state, because the common oxidation state, that is stable oxidation state of lanthanoid is +3. So one more question arises, why this happen? The common oxidation state of lanthanoid is +3. So this is due to the sum of first three enthalpy for each element, that is cerium to lutetium, is basically 3512 to 4200 kilojoule per mole, which are very low, and thus +3 is ionic and Ln3 plus is dominant species. So by this way you can also write the answer why they are more stable in +3 oxidation state. Some more point noted down that the stability also can be affected by F0, F14 or F7 electronic configuration. So that is C4 plus is more stable. This is due to noble gas configuration. U2 plus is more stable. This is due to 4F7 electronic configuration, that is half filled electronic configuration. For students, stability also depend upon vacant, half filled and full filled F cell. So these are basically all thing about oxidation state. This is very important for examination point of view. That means one question may be raised is so that cerium 4 plus is act as oxidant. So you can write the answer like this: say Ce4 plus Fe2 plus, this will gives Ce3 plus iron 3 plus. So by this way you can find that cerium 4 plus is oxidizing agent. Now students, let us focus on some worked out example. So look at here. First question, most of the transition elements do not displace hydrogen from dilute acid. Explain. So this you can explain on the basis of electrochemical series, that is Enoud value. So they are placed below H in the electrochemical series, are less reactive than hydrogen. So that's why they do not displace hydrogen from acid. Just like one example I also given you in the value of Enoud, that is the copper have Enoud value for copper 2 plus oblique copper plus 0.34 and for hydrogen is 0. So that's why more the positive charge, more will be the stronger oxidizing agent. So that's why copper do not displace H2 gas from acid. Now second, transition metals are weak reducing agent. Explain. So this I also told you in the term of Enoud, due to high heat of sublimation, high Annecy enthalpy and low Enoud value, they are weaker reducing agent than S block elements. Now students, next question, Cr2 plus is strongly reducing while Mn3 plus is strongly oxidizing. Explain. This I also told you in term of Enoud value. The Enoud value of copper 3 plus oblique copper 2 plus is minus 0.41 is negative, but that of Mn3 plus oblique Mn2 plus is positive, that is plus 1.57. That's why Cr2 plus can lose electron, show form Cr3 plus, while Mn3 plus accept electron to form Mn2 plus. One more thing I told you that in the term of half filled and full filled configuration, so here Mn2 plus have D5 configuration. So look at here, in case of Cr, D4 change to D3 occurs for Cr2 plus to Cr3 plus. D3 is stable in T2G configuration. So that's why Cr3 plus is more stable. Similarly, in case of Mn2 plus, D4 configuration change into D5 configuration, that is half filled orbital configuration. So that's why Mn2 plus is more stable. So by this way, you can also write the answer of this type of question. So this type of question may be asked in board examination. Why they are strongly reducing, why they are oxidizing in term of fulfilled, half-filled, either in term of inert value. You can explain the answer. So basically you have to focus the inert value. Now question number 4. What is the lengthenwide contraction and what are the consequences of lengthenwide contraction? So this I also told you. A steady decrease in size of lengthenwide with increase in atomic number is known as lengthenwide contraction, and this lead to similar physical and chemical property among lengthenwide. For example, zirconium and hafnium exist together. This is due to lengthenwide contraction. They have similar atomic size. Now self-assessment test. So question number 1, cerium having the atomic number 58 is important member of lengthenwides. Which of the following statement about cerium is incorrect? There 4 options are given. Cerium 4 act as an oxidizing agent. The +3 oxidation state of cerium is more stable than +4 oxidation state. Third, the +4 oxidation state of cerium is not known in the solution. Then 4, the common oxidation state of cerium is basically are the +3 and +4. So you have to find the answer from 4 options. Now second question, identify the incorrect statement among the following. First, 4f and 5f orbitals are equally shielded. Second, the block elements show irregular trends and erratic chemical property among themselves. Third, lanthanum and lutetium have partially filled d orbitals and no other partially filled orbitals. D, the chemistry of various lanthanoids is very similar. So out of 4 options, you have to select the correct choice. Now question number 3, the lanthanoid contraction is responsible for the fact that ZR and Y have about the same radius. Second, ZR and HNB have similar oxidation state. ZR and HF have about same radius, and ZR and Zn have the same oxidation state. Here also you have to find the correct choice out of 4 choices. So nowadays students, question number 4, which of the following factors may be regarded as main cause of lengthenwide contraction? So here also 4 options are given. So look the answers and try to find the correct answer from these 4 options. Now question number 5, which of the following ions has electronic configuration that is like this, Ar3d6? So out of 4, you have to find the correct answer which have the configuration like this. Ar means argon, till 18 argons are filled and left electrons can fill like this. So you have to follow the above principle to find the electronic configuration of this question. Now question number 6, which is the stronger reducing agent, Cr2 plus or Fe2 plus, and why? This you can also find from inert value. Now out of Cr2 plus and Cr3 plus, which ion is stable in aqueous solution? This you can also find by inert value. Then question number 8, the inert value for copper is positive. What is the possibility of the reason for this? So this I also told you. Now listen the PPT video carefully and try to find the answer of this question. So do all the work in classwork copy. Prepare a note with the help of PPT video. Nowadays students, revision is most important. Practice, then patience, and plus proper orientation. This will lead to 100% success. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep learning. So this is the last lecture of Unit 7 D and F block elements. In 4 lectures, 1 to 4 lectures, you have to listen the PPT video carefully and try to make a well notes with the help of NCERT book. From this topic which I have told you in all these lectures, the questions may be asked. Some questions are also given to you to understand the PPT video lectures properly. Thank you dear students.